The vast emptiness of space lit up as 12 massive Draskan Imperial battlecruisers emerged from the darkness. Their angular hulls gleamed under the light of a distant red star. The Empire had controlled this part of space for over 2,000 years, crushing anyone who challenged them. Captain Hana stood on the bridge of the Earthship Intrepid. 6 other human warships formed a line beside her vessel. They were the only defense between the Imperial fleet and Earth's outer colonies. "They're calling us, Captain," said Lieutenant Tay, his fingers moving quickly across the control panel. "Show them," Hana replied, standing tall. The screen came to life, showing the scaled face of Admiral Drox. His yellow eyes narrowed as he looked at the humans. "Human vessels, this is Admiral Drox of the Draskan Imperial Fleet. You are not allowed in this area according to Emperor Voss. You have 6 hours to leave and prepare to discuss your surrender." Hana stepped forward, her voice steady despite the danger. "Admiral, this is Captain Hana of the Earth Defense Fleet. We hear your message, but we will not leave. Our council has ordered us to stay here and protect our territory." Admiral Drox's face darkened with anger. "Then you have chosen death, human." The call ended, and the bridge went quiet. "What should we do, Captain?" asked Commander Sun, her second in command. Hana looked at the screen showing the huge force facing them. "We stay right here. Shields up. Let's show them that humans don't run away." Back on his ship, Admiral Drox was surprised. The humans had not moved since his warning. Most species begged for mercy when facing Imperial ships. "Sir, the human ships are small, but our scans show unusual energy readings," said his weapons officer. "How is this possible?" Drox asked. "Humans only reached the stars 50 years ago. They should be primitive." He studied the human ships more carefully. They were clearly outmatched but showed no signs of fear or retreat. "Open the channel again," he ordered. When Captain Hana appeared on screen, Drox noticed her calm expression. There was no fear, only determination. "Your bravery is impressive but foolish," he said. "The Empire has defeated species far more advanced than yours. Surrender now and some of your people might live." Hana smiled slightly. "Admiral, humans have always stood against impossible odds. That's something your reports probably missed." Drox noticed the human crew working calmly in the background. They showed none of the panic he expected. After the call ended, Drox paced his command deck. "Fire a warning shot at their smallest ship. Show them our power." His gunners fired, and a bright beam struck the smallest human vessel. The ship spun and appeared badly damaged. On the Intrepid, Hana watched calmly. "Open a channel to the damaged ship." Commander June's face appeared on screen, with emergency lights flashing behind him. "Captain, we've lost engines and weapons. Life support is failing. Prepare to abandon ship if needed." "We won't leave you behind," Hana said, then cut the connection. She turned to her crew. "Status of our hidden ships?" "Ready and waiting, Captain. The Empire doesn't know they're there." Meanwhile, on the Imperial main ship, an officer rushed to Admiral Drox. "Sir, we're detecting more human ships coming from behind that moon." "Impossible," Drox said. "Our reports say they don't have that many vessels." He stared at the screen, confusion growing. The humans were too confident. Something wasn't right. What Drox didn't know was that Major Wan was already inside the Imperial communications station nearby. His team was planting devices that would give the humans control of Imperial systems. "Last device placed," Lieutenant Suk whispered through their secure line. "Uploading the program now." Back on the Intrepid, Captain Hana received the signal. "Begin the next phase." Suddenly, the damaged human ship straightened, and all its lights came back on. It had never been truly damaged. On Drox's ship, alarms started blaring. "What's happening?" he demanded. "Our targeting systems aren't working, engines not responding. Something is controlling our systems." The human ships moved into perfect positions around the Imperial fleet, surrounding them completely. Captain Hana's voice came through on all Imperial channels. "Admiral Drox, perhaps we should talk about terms now. We've sent proof of your illegal experiments on the Centauri colonies to everyone in this sector. Our weapons are aimed at your engine cores. I suggest we find a peaceful solution." Drox stared at his screen in shock. The humans had tricked the mighty Empire with clever planning and technology his experts had thought impossible. For the first time in centuries, Imperial ships faced an enemy that showed no fear and dared the Empire to make a move. Admiral Drox stared at the main screen on his bridge. The human warships remained in position, showing no signs of retreat. 6 hours had passed since his ultimatum, and the humans had not moved an inch. "They mock us with their stillness," he growled to his second-in-command. "Perhaps they are simply waiting to die bravely," the officer suggested. Drox shook his head. "No, there is something else happening here." He turned to his communications. "Officer, call their leader again." On the Intrepid, Captain Hana sat calmly in her command chair when the call came through. She nodded to Lieutenant Tay, who put the Imperial Admiral on screen. "Your time has expired, human," Drox said. "Yet, you remain. Explain yourselves." Hana leaned forward slightly. "Admiral, we believe there has been a misunderstanding. Humans are new to this part of space, but we are not aggressive. We simply wish to protect what is ours." "Nothing is yours," Drox snapped. "All belongs to the Empire. This has been true for 2,000 years. "Things change," Hana replied simply. "We propose a meeting, face-to-face, to discuss our differences properly." This suggestion surprised Drox. Face-to-face meetings were part of the formal first contact protocols rarely used in modern times. The Empire usually just conquered new species. "You wish to invoke the ancient protocols?" he asked, his voice softer now, "Yes? One ship from each side, neutral ground, the old ways." After the call ended, Drox's advisors gathered around him. "It is a trap," one said. "It is a delay tactic," said another. But the oldest advisor, a female named Grex, who had served 3 emperors, spoke up. "The first contact protocols are sacred, even to the Empire. To refuse would be to admit fear." Drox hissed in anger. "The Empire fears nothing, especially not humans." "Then accept their offer," Grex said simply. 6 hours later, a single shuttle from each fleet approached a small asteroid that floated between their positions. The human shuttle landed first, and Captain Hana stepped out with 2 officers. Admiral Drox arrived next, also with 2 guards. It was the first time humans and Draskans had stood face to face. Drox was taller than Hana had expected, nearly 7 feet in height, with scales that shifted color slightly as he moved. His eyes were large and yellow, with vertical pupils that narrowed as he studied the humans. "You are smaller than I imagined," he said. "And you are more colorful," Hana replied. They entered a simple chamber that had been prepared on the asteroid. A table with chairs for both species stood in the center. "Why do you resist the inevitable?" Drox asked once they were seated. "Your species is young. You have only 7 warships. The Empire has thousands." Hana smiled. 7 ships that you can see, Admiral." This made Drox pause. "Explain." 50 years ago we found something on Mars, our nearest planet," Hana said. "Ancient technology, not from your Empire, much older. It taught us many things." She placed a small device on the table. It projected an image of space around them, showing dozens of human ships that had been hidden behind moons and in the shadow of nearby planets. "Impossible," Drox whispered. "Our sensors would have detected them." "The ancient ones knew how to hide from eyes like yours," Hana explained. "We learned quickly." For the first time in his long career, Admiral Drox felt uncertainty. The human wasn't lying. He could tell that much from her steady gaze. "The Empire has never negotiated with a species so young," he finally said. "Then today will be historic for both our peoples," Hana replied. As they talked, Commander Jin secretly accessed the Imperial Shuttle's computer system. The codes Major Wan had stolen from the relay station worked perfectly. Soon, Jin had downloaded the Empire's complete tactical database. Meanwhile, Hana explained Earth's history to Drox. "We fought ourselves for thousands of years," she said. "Tribe against tribe, nation against nation. We nearly destroyed ourselves many times, but each time we learned and grew stronger. And now you think you can challenge the Empire? Drox asked. We don't wish to fight you, Hana said. But we will not be conquered. Not again. Not by anyone. Something in her tone made Drox believe her. He had conquered 37 species in his career. None had spoken with such quiet confidence. When they returned to their ships, Drox immediately called his emperor. The humans are strange, Your Majesty, he reported. They show no fear. Their technology is unexpected. And they speak of ancient ones who came before even the Empire. The Emperor's face showed concern. Could they be speaking of the Forerunners? I believe so, Drox answered. They found Forerunner technology on their homeworld. This changes everything, the Emperor said quietly. Return to Central Command immediately. We must discuss this development. As the Imperial fleet prepared to depart, Captain Hana watched from her bridge. They're leaving, Commander Sun said with surprise. For now, Hana replied. But they'll be back, with more ships. Will we be ready? Sun asked. Hana nodded, looking at the data Commander Jin had stolen. Yes, now we know exactly how they fight, and they still don't understand how we think. The human fleet remained in position, watching as the Imperial ships disappeared into the darkness of space. The first test was over, but the real challenge was just beginning. 3 days after the meeting on the asteroid, Captain Hana stood on the bridge of the Intrepid, watching the stars. The Imperial fleet had left, but everyone knew they would return with more ships. Captain, we're receiving a message from Earth Command, Lieutenant Tay said. Admiral Jin appeared on the main screen. His face was serious. Captain Hana, our long-range scanners have detected 3 Imperial battle groups heading toward your position. They will arrive in less than 2 days. How many ships? Hana asked. Over 50, Admiral Jin replied. The Council has approved Operation Ghost Echo. You have full authority to proceed. After the call ended, Hana gathered her officers in the command room. The Empire is coming back with a much larger force, she told them. We need to be ready. Commander. Sun pointed to the star map. Our hidden ships are in position. The new shield technology is working perfectly. Major Wan, who had led the team that infiltrated the Imperial relay station, spoke next. The data we stole shows their attack patterns. They always follow the same steps. First, they surround their target. Then they offer one last chance to surrender. Finally, they attack from all sides at once. Hana nodded. Then we will use their habits against them. Begin Operation Ghost Echo immediately. For the next 2 days, the human fleet was busy. Engineers worked around the clock, installing special devices on each ship. Other crews prepared hundreds of small objects that looked like space debris. On the morning of the 3rd day, long-range sensors detected the Imperial fleet entering the system. They're here, Commander Sun announced. 53 warships, just as intelligence predicted. Hana took a deep breath. Send the signal to all ships. Prepare to execute Ghost Echo. This time, Admiral Drox commanded the Imperial flagship from the center of a massive formation. At his side stood Lord Vex, the Emperor's personal representative. Those are the human ships? Lord Vex asked, looking at the small Earth fleet on the main screen. Yes, my lord, Drox replied. 7 vessels, the same as before. Lord Vex looked, unimpressed. The Emperor was concerned for nothing. These humans are barely worth our attention. Do not underestimate them, Drox warned. They have unusual technology and strange confidence. Confidence is not a weapon, Lord Vex said dismissively. Surround them and offer them one chance to surrender, then destroy them. The Imperial fleet moved into position, creating a perfect circle around the human ships. On the Intrepid, Captain Hana waited until the last Imperial ship was in position. They've surrounded us completely, Commander Sun reported. Perfect, Hana replied. They've done exactly what we wanted, launched the drones. From each human ship, dozens of small objects were ejected into space. To Imperial sensors, they looked like garbage or debris. But each one contained a special device. Admiral Drox was preparing to send the surrender demand when his sensors officer called out, "Admiral, there's something strange happening with the human ships." On the main screen, the human fleet seemed to be multiplying. Where there had been 7 ships, now there appeared to be 20, 30, 50? "What trickery is this?" Lord Vex demanded. "Some kind of illusion," Drox guessed. "Scan for energy signatures." "That's the problem, sir," the sensor officer replied. "Every target shows a real energy signature. Our systems can't tell which are real and which are fake." On the Intrepid, Captain Hana watched the confusion in the Imperial fleet. "The holographic projectors are working perfectly," Commander Sun reported. "Their sensors are detecting ghost ships everywhere." "Begin Phase 2, Hana ordered. The real human ships began to move, blending in with the holographic projections. At the same time, Major Wan led a small team in stealth shuttles toward the Imperial flagship. "The humans are moving," Drox's tactical officer reported. "But we can't track them. There are too many signals." "Fire at all of them," Lord Vex commanded. "No," Drox shouted, but it was too late. The Imperial ships opened fire, but their weapons passed through most of the targets, hitting nothing but empty space. Worse, some Imperial ships accidentally hit each other as they fired at ghosts. Meanwhile, Major Wan's team attached themselves to the hull of the Imperial flagship. Using tools developed from the ancient technology, they cut through the hull without being detected. "We're inside," Wan reported quietly to Captain Hana. Moving to the main computer core. On the bridge of the Imperial flagship, chaos reigned. The sensors showed hundreds of human ships now moving in impossible patterns. "This cannot be real," Lord Vex shouted. "No species could hide this many ships." "They couldn't," Drox agreed. "It must be a deception. But how are they doing it? Before they could figure it out." The ship's lights flickered and went out. Emergency systems came on, bathing the bridge in red light. "What's happening?" Lord Vex demanded. "We've lost control of main systems," the engineer reported. "Something is overriding our computers." In the computer core, Major Wan's team uploaded a virus they had created using the stolen Imperial codes. It spread quickly through the flagship's systems and then to other ships in the fleet. One by one, the Imperial warships lost power. Their weapons went offline. Their engines stopped. They floated helplessly in space, surrounded by an enemy they couldn't even see clearly. On the Intrepid, Captain Hana received one signal. "Phase 2 complete," she said to her crew. "Now we show them the truth." The holographic projections disappeared, revealing only the original 7 human ships. But now they were positioned at key points around the Imperial fleet, each targeting a command ship. Hana opened a channel to the Imperial flagship. "Admiral Drox, this is Captain Hana. I believe it's time we talked again." Admiral Drox stared at the main screen in disbelief. The Imperial fleet, 53 of the most powerful warships in the galaxy, floated helplessly in space. Their weapons were offline, their engines dead, and only 7 human vessels had done this. "This is impossible," Lord Vex whispered beside him. "How could they disable our entire fleet?" Captain Hana's face filled the screen. "Admiral Drox, I suggest we talk about peace now. Your ships will remain disabled for the next 6 hours. That should give us plenty of time to discuss terms." "The Empire does not negotiate when threatened," Lord Vex said angrily. "The Empire has never faced humans before," Hana replied calmly. "We prefer peace, but we prepared for war. The choice is yours." After the transmission ended, Drox turned to his officers. "Find a way to restart our systems. Now." Engineers worked frantically throughout the Imperial flagship. In a secure room deep inside the ship, the chief engineer made a discovery. "Admiral, come see this," he called. Drox and Lord Vex hurried to the engineering section. On a screen, the engineer showed them a strange code running through their systems. "This is unlike anything I've seen before," the engineer explained. "It's changing constantly. When we block it one way, it finds another path." "Is it destroying our ships?" Lord Vex asked. "No," the engineer said. It's just holding them. It could have destroyed us already if that was its purpose. This revelation stunned both Imperial leaders. Meanwhile, on the Intrepid, Captain Hana met with Major Wan, who had returned from his mission. The virus is working perfectly, Wan reported. Their best engineers can't remove it. And the second part of the mission? Hana asked. Wan smiled and held up a small device. Complete success. I placed the quantum link in their main communication array. We can now hear everything they say to each other and to their homeworld. This was the true purpose of Operation Ghost Echo. The holographic ships were just a distraction. The real goal was to place a quantum listening device in the Imperial communication system. Through this device, humans would be able to hear all Imperial messages across the galaxy. They would know the Empire's plans before they happened. Send the signal to Earth, Hana ordered. Tell them Phase 3 is complete. 6 hours later, Admiral Drox and Lord Vex sat across from Captain Hana in the same room on the asteroid where they had met before. This time, the mood was very different. You could have destroyed our ships, Drox said. Why didn't you? Humans don't want to destroy, Hana explained. We want to live in peace, but we will not be conquered. Lord Vex's eyes narrowed. Peace is submission to the Empire. That is the only peace we offer. Hana shook her head. That time is over. The rules have changed. She activated a small device on the table. It showed images of dozens of worlds across the galaxy. These are planets under Imperial control, Hana said. On each one, people suffer. They work as slaves. They die for the Empire's glory. How do you know this? Drox asked, surprised that humans had such detailed knowledge of Imperial territories. We learn quickly, Hana replied. And now we offer you a choice. Leave human space forever and reform how you treat other worlds or face the consequences. Lord Vex laughed. You have 7 ships. The Empire has thousands. 7 ships that disabled. 53 of your best warships without firing a shot, Hana reminded him. Imagine what our main fleet could do. This was a bluff. Earth had no more ships than what the Empire had already seen. But thanks to Major Wan's quantum link, Hana knew the Empire feared there might be hundreds more human vessels hiding throughout the galaxy. The Emperor will never agree to your terms, Lord Vex insisted. He already has, Hana said. She showed them another image, a live transmission from the Imperial capital. The Emperor himself was speaking to his council. These humans have technology we do not understand. Until we learn more, we must avoid direct conflict with them. Lord Vex's face turned pale. How are you seeing this? This is a private Imperial Council meeting happening right now. Hana didn't answer. She didn't need to. The demonstration was clear. Humans could now see and hear the Empire's most secret communications. Admiral Drox understood the full meaning of this. In war, information was as powerful as weapons. If humans could listen to all Imperial communications, they would always be one step ahead. What are your terms? He asked quietly. Simple, Hana replied. The Empire will recognize human territory and never enter it again. You will begin granting freedom to other worlds under your control, and you will share your medical technology with peaceful species. The Empire has never accepted such terms in 2,000 years, Lord Vex protested. Then it's time for the Empire to change, Hana said, or it will not survive another 1,000. As Drox considered these words, he realized a truth that would shake the foundation of Imperial power. The humans hadn't just outmaneuvered them in battle, they had changed the rules of the game itself. 1 month after the confrontation with the Imperial fleet, Captain Hana stood in a large meeting hall on Earth. Representatives from 27 worlds filled the room. Some were human colonists from distant planets. Others were aliens from species that had lived under Imperial rule for centuries. The center of the hall stood a round table. On one side sat 5 human leaders, including Admiral Jin and President Min. On the other side sat 4 Imperial representatives, led by Admiral Drox himself. We are gathered here to sign the Treaty of New Dawn, President Min announced. This marks the first time in 2,000 years that the Empire has signed a treaty as equals rather than conquerors. Admiral Drox looked uncomfortable, but resigned. The events of the past month had changed everything for the Empire. After the humans revealed their ability to listen to Imperial communications, panic had spread through the Imperial government. Some military leaders wanted to attack Earth immediately with all available forces. Others recognized that a new approach was needed. The Emperor himself finally settled the debate. If these humans wanted to destroy us, they could have done so, already, he had told his council. Instead, they offer us a chance to change. Perhaps it is time we took it. Now, as the treaty was about to be signed, Hana thought about the long journey that had brought them here. "Captain, a word, please," Admiral Jin said, gesturing her to a quiet corner. "The quantum link is still working perfectly," Jin told her, quietly. "We can hear every discussion in the Imperial Palace. They are keeping their word so far." Hana nodded. "And our other projects?" "The shield technology has been shared with the former Imperial worlds that joined our alliance. The virus program has been installed in all their defense systems. This was the real victory. Not just freedom for humans, but a chance at freedom for all species that had suffered under Imperial rule." Back at the table, President Min read the main points of the treaty. The Empire recognizes the independence of all human worlds and colonies. A neutral zone will be established between our territories. Trade will begin between our peoples. And most importantly, the Empire agrees to allow any world that wishes to leave Imperial control to do so peacefully. This last point had been the hardest to win. The Empire had never willingly given up territory before, but with their communications compromised and their military technology suddenly outdated, they had little choice. Admiral Drox signed the treaty with a quick motion of his clawed hand. President Min signed next, followed by representatives from both sides. As the ceremony ended, Drox approached Captain Hana. "You have changed the course of galactic history," he said quietly, "not with superior numbers or weapons, but with courage and cunning." "We did what we had to do to survive," Hana replied. "The Empire has ruled through fear for too long," Drox admitted. "Perhaps it is time we learned a different way." Hana was surprised by his words. "You support these changes?" Drox looked around at the diverse gathering. "I have conquered 37 worlds in my career. I thought I was bringing order and progress. Now I wonder if I was only bringing suffering." "It's not too late to build something better," Hana suggested. Later that evening, Hana stood with her crew on a balcony overlooking the city. The lights of Earth's capital glowed beneath them, and the stars shone brightly above. "Do you think they'll keep their word?" Commander Sun asked. "They know we're watching," Major Wan replied. "The quantum link lets us hear everything they say." "But eventually they'll find and remove our technology," Sun pointed out. Hana smiled. "By then it won't matter. The Empire is already changing. 7 planets have voted to leave Imperial control in just the last week. More will follow." Lieutenant Tay raised a glass. "To the 7 ships that changed the galaxy." They all drank to the toast, but Hana's mind was already turning to the future. The ancient technology they had found on Mars was only the beginning. There were more secrets to discover among the stars. 3 days later, the Intrepid prepared to leave Earth orbit. A new mission awaited them, to explore beyond known space, to find other civilizations that might be friends or enemies. As the ship moved away from Earth, Hana looked at her crew. They had faced the mighty Empire without fear. They had changed the rules of a game that had been played the same way for thousands of years. "Where to, Captain?" Commander Sun asked from her station. Hana looked at the star map. Beyond Imperial, space lay unexplored regions filled with both danger and promise. "Set course for the Andromeda Reach," she ordered. "There are reports of ancient ruins similar to those we found on Mars." As the Intrepid's engines powered up, Hana thought about how quickly things had changed. A month ago, humans were fighting for the right to exist. Now they were leading an alliance of worlds. The Empire was still powerful, still dangerous, but it would never again rule through fear alone. A new dawn had truly begun for the galaxy, and it had all started with 7 human warships that showed No fear, and dared the Empire to make a move. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.